Hello and welcome back to DocTrack Administrator Training. With this lesson, we look at creating DocTrack form output profiles for SharePoint. On our last lesson, we completed a document saving rule that archived a customer purchase order in our SharePoint document library. It also populated values in the appropriate columns automatically. Our goal now is to do the same thing with a form output profile for the order verification report. This is the one we created earlier that saves the report to our file system. I'm logged in as Peter Simmons, and I want to create one for me that will store the file to our SharePoint library. To save a little time, I'm just going to duplicate this one and enter P. Simmons in the user ID field. And since we've already demonstrated the email feature, I'll keep things simple and select Archive Only. Notice that I still want to bundle the report with the Terms and Conditions PDF, which is stored on our file system. Next, I'll go all the way down to Archive Location and change it to Database. I'll also select my SharePoint version. Now the file name. As we saw for the document saving rule, this needs to be a web address. On this tab, I've already logged into SharePoint. So, like before, I'll select the DocTrack link and copy the portion of the URL I'll need for the library. Remember, we want to maintain the same folder structure in SharePoint that we have in the file system. So I'm just going to replace the UNC path to DocTrack with the web version I just copied. Now I just need to replace the remaining backslashes with forward slashes. Next is the SharePoint Credentials section. With document saving rules, access to files is determined by the Windows account that's running Sightline on the user's computer. But with form output profiles, access is determined by the Windows account running the DocTrack polling utility. So that DocTrack can add new files to our SharePoint library, I'll copy and paste the same username and password that I used for the document saving rule. Then I'll select this Save button. Now let's get our SharePoint column properties. I'll navigate to the library settings, and here are the columns I'll want to populate. We'll start with the doc type. First, I'll copy the field code from up here. Then, before I leave this page, I'll check out the choice list. As I scroll down, you can see that I've included the option for order verification. Now I can go back to Sightline, paste the column code here, and for the column value, I'll enter order verification. I'll continue to add the rest of the column properties. Okay, I've entered all the SharePoint properties, so my rule is complete. But there is one more thing I need to do before we use it. In the DocTrack parameters form, there's a section labeled SharePoint Credentials for bundling virtual rules. Entering the SharePoint credentials on the form output profile allows the report to be saved to SharePoint. But if you want to allow users to bundle a form output profile report with a file in SharePoint, then you'll need to add the credentials here too. This is also required for SharePoint virtual rules. All right, let's go to our customer order and test it out. Here's that customer PO we saved to SharePoint with our document saving rule. Here's the path to the document in our SharePoint library. And you can see that it's set to bundle with the order verification. I'll select the Order Verification button, uncheck the report header, and check Print with Attachments. Then I'll print it. And here's our new order verification report. Here's the report from Sightline. Here's the Terms and Conditions document stored on the file server. And here is the customer PO stored in SharePoint. Speaking of SharePoint, let's go back to our document library and navigate to our new file. Here's the new report file in the same subfolder as the customer PO. And here are the column values that DocTrack entered automatically. That's how you create a DocTrack form output profile for SharePoint. And that's all for now. On our next lesson, we'll look at virtual rules for SharePoint. See you then.